Hi, Pam. Welcome to the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast.
Hey, Julia. Thanks for having me. I'm really a little nervous, but excited to be here. So,
Oh, good. Well, we're happy to have you. You've been on our list for a while. You did the CPC program, and we got to work together really closely on that, which was great. So I'm excited for you to share with our listeners kind of what you've been up to and all of the things that you specialize in. Tell us a little bit about what you're currently doing with your IHP certification, and then we'll talk about how you found us and all of that.
okay. I pretty much I don't do a whole lot with social media, but I do a lot of in-person networking. So I'm part of quite a few different groups. I do a lot with the chambers. And then I also work 2 days a week out of my chiropractor's office. I just rent a space from her, so I don't actually work for her. And that's been really great. And with one of the groups that I'm in, there's a lot of different chapters, so I get to go to all these different groups that are part of this one organization, and that's been really great for me. Like just really building those relationships. I'm more of an in-person person, so I just really like the in-person networking and building those relationships. So
that's great. And when you're working in the chiropractor office, you're doing like all the IHP things, running functional medicine labs and protocols and just supporting clients through wellness plans.
Yeah, I'm just kind of it's good to kind of be out of the house for just 2 days a week. It gives me a chance to really dig in without other distractions. And then also, like, for her, she loves sending clients down my way. Like, I do have the detoxes in the front, so I've gotten quite a few detox customers from that. So that's been really good. And I have a few that have done labs. So that's a little slower process, but it's been really good. So
that's great. Yeah. And
yeah, she was super excited to have me in there and with the lab work and everything. So that's kind of exciting for me too. So
that's great. And because she's a chiropractor, right? The people that are there are likely at least knowledgeable enough in health and wellness, and they're wanting to take care of their, physical body, right? So they might want to be taking care of their internal, right, at the same time. So it's kind of a nice fit. And especially when you have somebody that's believes in the work that you do, right? We're going to talk a whole lot about this in the episode. It's kind of like that networking path where, you're suggesting people to her and she's suggesting people to you, right? We can't all do everything. And being in just like a like-minded space is so beneficial.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. How did you find IHP? What's your story kind of to this point?
So when I was in the military for 24 years. So when I was doing my retirement physical is when they diagnosed with Hashimoto's. So that was in 2012. And at that point, I found a naturopathic doctor because my parents being from Germany, my mom was always very natural. Like, we got raw milk from the farmer, raw eggs, like got the half a cow, all that growing up. So I really grew up in that whole mindset already, which was great. So I really didn't want to do the medication if I didn't need to. So I started going to a naturopathic doctor. And then COVID hit and her husband passed. And then now she's like late 80s. So I was like, I really need to look for someone new to work with. And I had found another program but they were still pushing the medication and like something else for my antibodies, which I definitely didn't want to do. And then I just found Dr. Cabral's podcast one day when I was out walking. We have this 5-mile trail, and I just started binging all his thyroid podcasts. And my naturopath always said, all you really need, because I was in a network marketing company that was health and wellness as well, as non-toxic cleaners, non-toxic skincare, and also supplements. And it kept me sinus infection free for 20 years. So the products did work, and I knew there was a lot to that. So that was great. But my naturopath always said, because at that point I was doing a lot of networking too. She said, you just need some kind of certification. And so when I heard Dr. Cabral's podcast and the IHP, this is like, and the functional medicine lab testing was the thing that completely swung me. I was like, this is amazing. So yeah, I jumped in head first and did IHP 1, then IHP 2, then I did BME, I did Mastery, I did HPH. So I'm doing level.
And CPC.
Yep, and CPC, and now I'm doing level 3. So yeah, I figured at 59, I might as well dive in and not really, take my time. So, not really intending. I never thought I would do this whole business thing, but I love it, and I love being able to help others get better and just kind of find those root causes. So,
yeah, that's great. And for so many people, the functional medicine lab testing is like the thing that, seals the deal, because it truly is what sets most other programs apart, right? You're able to use these tangible quantitative tests to now bring to a client and say, here's what's going on individually for you, and here's what we can do to fix it. And it's such a tangible way to allow clients to kind of see firsthand that it's not just an assumption, right? That there might be deficiencies or that they may have gut-based overgrowth. It's there in black and white, and it gives you more leverage to then be able to help them. They're able to kind of buy into the process, not in a way that kind of creates this codependent, contract between you, but for them to go, I see it. And yes, I need some help, right? And instead of you just guessing based on their symptoms, you're really able to give them some really good feedback as far as what you can do going forward to improve their symptoms.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And really having like the different labs, because sometimes like the food sensitivity, I had one client come back with no markers elevated, but then I got his oat, and his oat was like horrible. So so it's just putting those puzzle pieces together, being able to do that, and it was pretty neat. So
yes. Yep. It's a tool for the investigative nature of what we do, right?
Yes.
You do it long enough and you can almost anticipate what the tests will say, right? But the client, because the client doesn't know any better, it's really good validating information for them to have in a quantitative way. So yeah, I think the functional medicine tests really do set things apart. And, even look like the chiropractor, somebody who is of medical background, right? They even can kind of understand and appreciate the value of that.
Yes, definitely. So.
Great. So what I would love to do next is chat a bit about kind of this whole, networking piece of things. And networking, certainly, it lives all sorts of places, right? You can do it virtually. I think social media is a form of networking, right? You become friends with someone and, you follow their little story and they follow yours. But what we're going to be talking about is in-person networking and how that's had a positive impact on your business, and maybe just how it's had a positive impact on your own well-being. It sounds like you're someone who doesn't want to be at home in your home office, 5 days a week working by yourself, and you value human connection and the ability to have a conversation and build a relationship. So tell us a little bit about the first one that you were mentioning about the, before we started recording, you were talking about how you drive up to Richmond and meet with just a bunch of people. Tell us all of the ways that you're kind of doing some in-person networking, if you will.
Sure. Yeah. So one of the groups, it's similar. Most people are familiar with BNI, but this is a 212 Referral Network. The guy who started it actually was with BNI and then kind of broke off. But it's a much better culture than BNI was, especially in this area. It was starting to really BNI was losing its flair around here. But the nice thing is, so each chapter only has one of whatever specialty you are, one painter, one real estate, one person. But I'm the only person who does what I do in any of the chapters. So I pretty much go around we have 15 in our area now, within 30 minutes of me. And then up in Richmond, there's 50 chapters, and they do a lot of socials up there. It's about an hour away. So I'll go up to those socials and meet people. I met a guy who does mold remediation. I've now gotten 3 referrals from him. So it's just building those relationships and really, fostering those relationships and getting to know what other people do. And what I found is it seems like every in-person meeting I go to, I always meet at least one person that is oh, I need you. So the people are out there, and I do love that personal connection, and the face-to-face, the belly-to-belly connection for me is really, it kind of fuels me. So.
Yeah, as I think it probably, if more people were super honest and attuned, it probably would most people would identify with something similar, right? But I think we kind of just like get into this mindset of like, no, I can be more, I think to myself, I can be more efficient if like I don't have to get dressed and drive somewhere. And, I can spend that half an hour meeting with a client, right? We're so hardwired to like for efficiency, for time management, right? That you can kind of lose touch with what benefit you're getting, right? When you lose a little bit of that time and you are face to face with somebody. And I think it's almost like, as you were talking, I was thinking it's like building that like, know, and trust, like by proxy, right? Like there's that 1 degree of separation. If the guy who does the mold remediation is trusted by the 3 clients that he's working for, right, in their home, and he suggests you, right, now they like, know, and trust him, and you're being referred by him. And so automatically they're going to have some sort of like, know, and trust with you off the bat because they really like, know, and trust the guy that suggested you. So I feel like it gives like this, you kind of already have a little bit of a leg up going into maybe like a consultation or a discovery call where that like 3-person relationship has kind of already had a little bit of that built in.
Yes, definitely. So,
yeah.
And it's interesting because the folks that he referred me to they were so grateful to have someone to actually listen to them, to what was going on and everything. So, so that's what we do, right? As IHPs. So it's pretty neat. So
yeah, sure, certainly listening, validating first, right? Validating the experience, all, mold specifically, that it can be so complex because if they're working with somebody with remediation, right, you're dealing with like grief of potentially like loss of items and, needing to remodel a home or, the financial stress of it, and on top of what may be going on from a health standpoint with them. And the mold remediation guy might not be able to offer all that support. And he's like, aha, I have someone for you, right? I'm going to fix the house, but I have somebody else support everything else. And, being top of mind because you've made that connection in person, you've made and continued, right, to foster that relationship is, I think, a really beneficial way for coaches who might be listening who don't love the aspect of, everything being virtual, or maybe don't even know that some of these networking things exist, right? Mm-hmm. I think that, again, because social media is the thing that's always in our face, we can kind of tend to think that that's the only option.
Yes, that's for sure.
Yeah. And as far as so do you find that you also use other people in the network? Like if you have clients that need, I don't know, something else, right? Do you think of people that are within the network and refer them to them?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, since we'll be moving in the summer, like had our, the power washing, got their painter. So they're all in our network too. So, you help them, and it's not necessarily that it's an even trade, but we all trust each other. So, so whoever you use and they use other people, it all works out in the end. So, but it's nice to have people that you really know, like the painter. This kid's in his 20s and he sent a team of 5 guys over here. Then lead guy introduced me to him and his 5 guys. Like they're so personable and so it's really nice having those connections and having people that are pretty amazing. So, yeah.
Well, and like, I think you bring up another good point, right? Is if someone's part of these in-person networking type of things, they are going to be probably more personable people, right? They may be just like you, where they appreciate, they need, love, want those types of relationships versus kind of it being, traffic driven to their website or just a social media, outlet. And so typically people that like that interaction are more personable, kind of outgoing people. And I think that to your point, you probably will meet more people with those types of personalities than not. Do you find that?
Yeah, that's definitely a great point. Yes. And then we have folks that come in that are like, oh, I'm horrible at public speaking, but being in this room every week and making them have to do it, like you get better and better and you get more comfortable. So it's a win-win because you're working on yourself and then you're also, just have that interaction with people. Some people really need that because they have lost it. So,
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah. And just having like the energy in a room be kind of everybody that's trying to foster the same thing, right? Connection and, relationship and getting better at public speaking, right? There's like the energy of everybody's kind of here to do the same thing. And we all do something different, but almost want the same thing, right? From whether it be a business standpoint or a, human connection standpoint, there's so much
Yes.
that you probably have in common, even though you all do something for work that's very different.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. So.
And as far as things like social media, do you kind of like weave that in, or do you find that it's mostly like, so someone's listening, right? And they were like, could you kind of drive a whole, I mean, I know two off the top of my head, IHPs who are very successful and don't have social media. But actually, I should rephrase that. They don't have Instagram, which is what most younger coaches tend to use. But they don't use social media as their biggest form of client, driving to their business. Do you find that you could use just in-person marketing as in-person networking, as a main driver for clientele?
For me, yeah, it's definitely, I don't do a ton. I mean, I do more personal with social media, and I might weave in some of the IHP stuff. I mean, I do here and there, but I'm not on there very consistently. So, but I find that in person for me, just it's the way I feel like it works better for me. Just I am planning on doing more with my social media, especially as we move, because I do so much in-person networking, and when we move, my husband will be retired, and so just getting the virtual piece set up a little better for that point when we get to that point in our lives. But right now, I really just do like the in-person. So
yep, and I think like for people listening, it's one of those things where whatever feels better or feels more aligned is likely going to give you better results, right? So if like you feel more aligned with something like social media, great. But if someone's listening and like they don't feel aligned with in-person networking, like it might feel forced. You might show up with like this closed off energy or, and then it's just not going to flow the same way. And you've probably had such great success with it so far because it does feel aligned for you. It feels like something that's fueling you rather than like a chore or something that you have to do. And so I think the point here is that everybody has a path that they would be most aligned with, and getting honest and knowing what path feels most aligned for you will likely lead you to your greatest success and probably lead you to the clients that need you, and then you're able to serve better. So I think this isn't about like, oh, everybody should be in-person marketing. It's that, no, this is an option if you feel like virtual stuff is kind of burning you out and you're missing human connection, because I think that there's kind of a place for everybody.
Yes, definitely. So
yes. And do you find, I'm curious, what is you mentioned the painters, and I was like, oh, that's interesting that they were younger. What's like the general age category of the people doing the in-person marketing, the in-person networking?
Honestly, we have, I would say, from 22 years old or 21 years old to 70 something years old. So, yeah. So it's a big range.
Okay. Yep.
And my actual group is, I mean, a lot of us have been together for probably 6 or 7 years now. So probably half of the group. So we have great chemistry and just have a lot of fun too. So it's, and then the new people that come in for the first time to check it out, they always comment on the energy in the room. So that's something you can get it sort of on Zoom, but not quite. So
certainly. I mean, it's no different than, IHP live calls, right? Like they can be great. And, we did the Centurion program and that's great, but like, there's nothing like being at RHS and in person.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like nothing quite takes the place of Zoom, but sometimes it's better than nothing. And it's a way to bring people together when you otherwise can't be. But I was wondering, because I was picturing it maybe attracting a demographic of like 40-ish plus, rather than younger. But it's so interesting to hear you say that it's also younger folks.
Yeah, our painter, our roofer. We have a financial advisor. They're all in their 20s. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. And again, I think it just goes back to personality, right? Some like 22-year-olds can just be old souls and want that in-person connection, right? And then there's, could be 50-year-olds who are kind of just like, nah, I'm going to run my website and, do funnels and that thing because it's not, that's what works best for me. So it really is so much personality driven, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's kind of fun because they all went to school with my kids.
The 20-something-year-olds.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And again, it fosters a sense of community in that sense. When I know that there's some chapters that are further away from you, but the chapters that are more local, right, you're able to kind of have this sense of community, and
Yeah.
it just makes, you even, this is going to sound so silly, but even like paying a bill for the roof, right? You probably feel way better about paying the kid that has worked really hard, all of his life, and he's doing the right thing, and he was, a great kid, came from a good family. Like, it's easier to write that check than, maybe someone you don't know, or someone who's super standoffish and not personable. And not that it's, that person still wouldn't deserve that same paycheck, but it just gives life a different feel when you somehow feel connection to like everything that you're doing, right? Because that's what life is. It's interaction, it's connection.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So
yes. Yeah. Not that writing a check for a new roof is probably anybody's favorite check to write, but
not really. They've gotten expensive. So
yes. And it's not like something you can really enjoy. It's not like you're looking at the roof, or, it's something that's just there for necessity. And it's not exactly the most pleasurable thing.
right.
And as far as your clientele, do you find that chiropractor type of clients, differ from the clients that you might be getting through the networking, or does it kind of just, it varies?
It definitely varies. Yeah. And I've had a few of the referrals from my chiropractor that they may have done a detox or a heavy metal lab, but then like that's pretty much it. So, but then I have a few that have been really invested in it, and then the folks that I've gotten through the networking, it's funny, when I came into this, I thought my niche would be, because I have Hashimoto's, would be all to do with thyroid, but doing all this in-person networking, it's I kind of have a little bit of everything. So a lot of gut. I mean, the gut is always everyone's deal for the most part, but gut issues and then thyroid. But yeah, my niche isn't really nailed down. Let me say, but it's okay. So
yeah, for some people, it's like it works. For some people, they do have a very specific clientele that they want to work with, and that's what fuels them. But for some people, like the variety, the kind of unexpected, like, what are we going to do this week? Like, that actually fuels them, right? And so it's not necessarily the worst thing. For a lot of people, it works. For a lot of people, so does a vast. And I think the other thing is when your network is broad, right, you can assume that maybe your clientele might be broad as well. And if that's something that's important to you, to maintain a broad network, it's not like you're in a networking group with all, women in their 40s who are doing some version of wellness, right? Well, then your referral base from those people may be more like perimenopausal or menopausal women, right? You can assume, but when your networking group is vast, then your clientele base probably will be too.
Yes, definitely.
So where are, if people are listening, where are all of the places that you show up, whether it just be, website or a social media or
mostly on Facebook and Instagram. So under my Pamela Gerth, I think is my Facebook, and then Pamela Gerth for my Instagram. And then I have PG Integrative Wellness as well. So, which, like I said, I don't do tons with, but I do. And then the other real quick thing that I want to talk about, this other group, the Pro Wellness Initiative.
Yes.
that I'm starting a chapter here. So it's just a really cool concept because we're pulling in all the different alternative modalities. So we've got Reiki and trainers and NLP folks and all that. And it's we meet in small, it's like 10 to 15 people, but it's just a way to collaborate and have someone in your back pocket if you have a really difficult client that maybe is having a lot of trauma issues or stuff like that. Because those aren't things like, that's not an area of expertise for me. So I would have someone to be able to help them as well. And then we can work on the other side of it with the health. But yeah, so it's a really neat concept. And she's actually trying to make this kind of a national, like get it all over the States. So
wow. So it's called Pro Wellness Initiative, and it's different than the kind of big network marketing that you do. This is more of a like actually something similar to what I just described, where it's mostly wellness based practitioners.
Yes, wellness based, and it's not necessarily networking. It's more collaborating and how can we make sure your systems are good, and like because she does a lot of business training and all that. So yeah, it's pretty neat. So if anyone wants more information on that, let me know. So they're starting a chapter in New Jersey. And then there's one in Florida, I think now too. So it's growing, but
yeah, that's great. So. Yeah. Thanks for that. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Integrative Health Coach Success podcast and giving us information again that I think is not top of mind when we kind of first think about all the things that we should be doing, right, as we start out, but is an aspect that can be so important for certain personality types. And I thank you for sharing all that you did with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks.
Yes, of course. Talk to you soon, Pam.
Okay. Thanks, Julia.
Bye-bye.
Bye.